The night was cloaked in darkness. As I drove along the desolate highway, the occasional flicker of my headlights revealing an empty stretch of road ahead. It was well past midnight, and fatigue weighed heavily on my shoulders. Little did I know that this ordinary drive would spiral into a nightmare, a harrowing encounter with a menace masquerading as authority. As I navigated the winding road, a sudden flash of red and blue lights in my rearview mirror jolted me out of my drowsiness. My heart skipped a beat as I pulled over to the side of the road, my mind racing to comprehend the reason for this unexpected encounter with law enforcement in the dead of night. The police car behind me was unmarked, lacking any discernible insignia or official markings. A chill ran down my spine as two figures clad in police uniforms emerged. Something felt off, a subtle discord between the authenticity of their appearance and the unsettling atmosphere that hung in the air. One of the officers approached my window, his face obscured by the shadows of the night. He requested my identification and registration with an air of authority that seemed rehearsed. As I handed over my documents, a nagging sense of unease settled over me. The other officer stood by the patrol car, watching with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. The officer examined my identification with a scrutiny that felt excessive for a routine traffic stop. His eyes, cold and unwavering, seemed to pierce through the darkness. Without explanation, he handed back my documents and instructed me to step out of the vehicle for a routine inspection. Reluctantly, I complied, my senses on high alert. The night seemed to close in around me as the officer directed me to the rear of my car. In the dim glow of his flashlight, I saw a badge that lacked the official markings of a legitimate police officer. Panic set in, but I dared not voice my suspicions. As I stood by the patrol car, the second officer maintained a watchful gaze. The atmosphere became charged with an unsettling tension, and the wind carried a distant howl that seemed to echo the foreboding nature of the encounter. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, a primal instinct warning me of impending danger. Without warning, the officer by my car abruptly shifted his demeanor. His expression hardened, and he demanded I hand over my phone for a routine inspection. Alarm bells rang in my mind, but the facade of authority suppressed any objection. I handed over my phone, the cool metal slipping from my grasp into the officer's gloved hands. As he examined the device, a disconcerting realization washed over me. This was no routine traffic stop. The unmarked car, the lack of official insignia, and now the invasive inspection of my personal belongings, all signs pointed to a disturbing deception. The so-called police officers were impostors, wolves in sheep's clothing, preying on unsuspecting travelers. In the dead of night, fear surged through my veins as I contemplated the implications of this sinister charade. The second officer remained an ominous presence, a silent enforcer, ready to pounce at the slightest sign of resistance. My mind raced, searching for an escape route from this increasingly perilous situation. With a surge of adrenaline, I feigned a sudden illness, clutching my stomach and doubling over in pain. The imposter officers, momentarily taken aback, exchanged glances. Seizing the opportunity, I staggered towards the side of the road, pleading for a moment of privacy To deal with my supposed ailment, their guard momentarily lowered. I discreetly dialed the emergency number on my phone. The dispatcher's voice provided a lifeline in the darkness, and I whispered urgent details of my location and the suspicious encounter unfolding. The gravity of the situation became evident as the dispatcher assured me that legitimate officers were en route, with the fake officers growing impatient. I knew I had to tread carefully. I rejoined them, my heart pounding as they returned my phone with a curt warning about traffic violations. As I stepped back into my car, the distant wail of sirens reached my ears. Salvation, in the form of legitimate law enforcement, the impostors, sensing the impending arrival of genuine officers, hastily retreated to their unmarked patrol car. Panic etched their faces as they realized their ruse had been exposed. Without a word, they sped away into the night, leaving me alone on the desolate highway. As the legitimate police arrived, I recounted the harrowing encounter. The officers assured me that they would investigate the incident and urged me to be cautious on my journey. The night had transformed from a routine drive into a chilling ordeal, a narrow escape from a sinister plot orchestrated by those who exploited the guise of authority for nefarious purposes. The lesson ingrained in that night's terror was clear: vigilance is paramount, even in the seemingly ordinary moments of life. The incident served as a stark reminder that deception can wear many faces, and trusting one's instinct in the face of danger is crucial. The unmarked patrol car and lack of official markings were red flags that, if recognized earlier, could have averted the looming threat. In the aftermath of the encounter, I discovered that such fake police incidents were not isolated. Impostors exploiting the trust associated with law enforcement to perpetrate crimes were a real and pervasive danger. The lesson learned was not only personal, but a cautionary tale for others. Be wary of the wolves in sheep's clothing, and never hesitate to verify the legitimacy of those who wield authority.